And welcome to Falskallan Nights. I'm your host, the Bard would know. Before we start getting into the game, we're going to go through a couple of announcements. First of all, we'd like to thank D&D Beyond for sponsoring us, helping us out with everything that helps us with our character sheets. I am really tired tonight, so this may be exceptionally relaxed, but that's okay. I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. But with that, we're also doing an initiative called Roll for Ukraine. Oop. Yep. Roll for Ukraine. There will be a link that'll be popping up every once in a while in the chat. Every once in a while in the chat, and you can call it up by using exclamation point roll for Ukraine or charity. My apologies. Exclamation point charity. You will be able to bring up any of the listings that are there, and everything is all the charities are non-profit. All 99% of the donations will go right to the charities to help the humanitarian aid with the Ukrainian conflict and war that is going on there. The 1% that's taken away is just for operational costs and administrative expenses. So any help that we can help generate revenue will go a long way. And these people need help. These people need to be safe, and I want them. So let's do what we can for these people and during these really hard times. It is scary out there. But with that, let's get to tonight's game. Last time on Falskallan Nights, them decided to go and take up a lead on Tenuit Cobalt's position, finding out a little bit of backstory about Howard and how a misplaced spell kind of destroyed a classroom, leaving a lot of people in an administrative nightmare in hell. Remembering them years later, Howard getting a thorough tongue lashing because of it. But because of Karig's, what is the word? Lead for House Darien to use to get in the position to talk to a Tenuit Kobold. They used that. A feisty little gnomish woman named Vil. But with that, she was able to get them a meeting with a Tenuit Kobold. Leading up into his chambers, they found a man well into his 80s, a human male, reading his books. After making a convincing argument, he was able to call upon the rest of the Falskallan Access, also known as the Colors, to be able to bring everybody together to have a meeting about the ongoing crisis that is going on in Chains and Lai Sharas, the cult that has been harrying the town. With that mission completed, the group decided to go to the Reliquary, a local tavern, just right by the guild, where they all, after having a good night of conversation and Spleen being rolled out of the tavern because of, well, let's just say, being an experiment and having blood drained and then going to drink right afterwards isn't exactly the smartest move, especially when she has the IV still in her. I see. It's one of those wheelie moments. I'm sorry, I'm just watching Given's reaction right now and I'm living for it. The group having a hard conversation, Exus comes by and talks to them about the fears and everything going on. There's a lot of tension in the town. This meeting will be good. The group finally decided to come back to their place of rest, Guildhall. And with that, we're gonna start off there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm assuming you guys are gonna take a long rest, or would you like to role play a little? Basically, Spleen still has the hospital gown on with the butt exposed, and just
my butt cheeks exposed.
How perfect!
I'm so glad everything went so well. I expect nothing less. Butt cheeks out, IV in, not and just knocked out.
Yeah, you're currently on a tensor's floating disc, just being wheeled away, kind of thrashing and gnashing in your sleep.
I'm gonna stop her from falling off at one point and be like, we should work on
spoons.
figuring out a way to make a railing with this spell.
Tensor's floating.
Seatbelt just strapped in. Tensor's floating.
Cage.
Baby pen, yeah.
Tensor's floating fennel. Or
Oh my
kennel.
God. God damn it.
Charles. All right, I'm knocked out. Yep.
Anyone have anything to roleplay for the night, or are we just gonna hit that long rest?
I'm gonna say go for the long rest because Hal's been drunk enough.
That's true. Sounds like a long rest it is.
Long rest. You guys enter the room and you notice that there's a lot of damage around. Fluffy missed you.
Aw.
Oh, what was that smile though? What
Fluff-
like what type of missed you?
All I know is I'm not going first.
There's like two different versions of missed you depending on who enters first.
I don't know. What's your marching order?
Fluffy had a night with me already. I'm good to stay last.
Roll for entering room.
Well, we roll what, a
Marching
d4?
order.
Oh my god. Yes, roll a d4.
Oh no.
Oh,
Just gonna default mine to 4.
I got 1. I'm on the disc. Never mind.
I got a 4.
Uh-oh.
I got a 3.
What did you get, Howard?
Can I just default into 4? No. Oh shit! It's a 1.
What is it? Well, seeing as I placed 4 as top of the round,
Yes.
right? You
You
open
did
the
not.
door.
You just made that up.
You mean I'm making things up in D&D? What?
I don't believe you. Prove it.
How dare I?
I thought this was a documentary.
Based off a true story.
Okay, bye. Don't make me leave the stream again. And make Juju reset everything because I commit to the bit.
You open the door and Fluffy the crocodile basically clomps you.
That's a word I haven't heard in years. That did some psychic damage to me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. This
But
is what
it's
you get for last week.
Sure, he loves you. Apparently, I'm tasty. This is bullshit.
Well, yeah, so you get this amalgamation of like what you think is reptile sweat, but it's just you get this warm body laying on top of you now, Bryony.
Aw, did you miss me, buddy?
It's just wailing its tail everywhere.
Who's a good boy?
Ooh, the best. Here's the look at that. Make an animal handling check there, Bryony, or anybody who wants to handle an animal.
Howard's just in the back muttering to himself, annoyed.
Making a Minecraft fence around his bed.
Yep.
I got a 13.
13? Easy enough since this is under the crocodile's still under your spell. You easily subdue him enough to get him to move aside so you can get up and get to your beds. With that, you'll take a long rest. Sleep catches you. Fluffy is still snuggling you, Bryony.
Aw.
This big scaly boy.
Give him the food we brought with us.
He's
Yes,
a laugh
all right.
reptile.
That's right, the extra ribs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trust me, I'm remembering this too as we're going along. It's been a week. Nonetheless, waking up into a partially destroyed room. It seems to be a really nice day. Nice warm breeze coming in through the window. You hear some training in the yard. Not exactly a lot of, not a lot of movement so far, but smells of food is coming up the stairs.
Well, that's my signal to close my book. Well, not really close book, just finish inscribing on my shield and wake people up for food. Not starting with spleen or the crocodile. So let's go to Hal first.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
Well, one is a vicious wild animal, and the other one's a crocodile.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
Is it food time?
Yes. Good morning, Hal.
Breakfast?
Yep. How's your head?
Been worse.
Probably been better.
It's been better.
Come on, it smells like breakfast is ready.
Yes.
You guys get up. Oh man, I really don't. Fluffy starts to get a little more aggressive.
I'm just gonna like.
He's on Bryony's bed. He's still upside down, but you start noticing his tail just starts going wild, and it's more of like that aggressive wild, just.
Just gonna like poke Bryony with my sheath from the other side of the bed. You should recast that spell on Fluffy. He's getting a little
Itchy.
All right. I sit up and like, in the first Frozen movie when Anna just wakes up.
Yeah.
Look at the
Yeah.
hair.
Take it out of her mouth.
Right. So
What?
I guess you're casting it. I got to make a wisdom saving throw, right?
Wisdom saving? Yeah, sure.
Yep.
That's what dice is that?
I roll it. I just want
yeah,
to make
that's
sure.
him rolling.
I roll it, and
Well, let me check because it's animal friendship, right?
I think so.
Yes. So I cast animal friendship.
that you do. You cast it. I already made my roll. Basically, Bryony, you roll over, you just give him a slap on the belly, and then you just notice like the frantic flailing just calm right down.
I immediately flop back over and put the pillow over my head.
This one is not a morning.
Breakfast is ready if you want it. Okay, we'll just bring you something back.
Queen, you actually have a really good, comfortable night's sleep. You don't know why, but it might be due to your just half-destroyed bed.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna be smart with her and use Mage Hand to wake her up.
It's just like disarming an explosive. Just like, we're gonna do it from over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you tap me?
Are you face up or face down?
I'm face down, butt in the air. It's great. Just drool everywhere. Hair. Yeah.
Probably
I mean,
just
if you're
like
using Mage Hand, you can just flicker in the cheek.
yeah, let's do that. We'll just
Which cheek?
flicker right in the cheek, in the right
Which
one.
cheek? Yeah, which
The
cheek?
one sticking in the air.
Oh,
What?
wow. Wow.
So even all you hear is just a little flick noise. Wayne, it snaps you right out of your sleep.
Who's wanting to start something?
Hal and Howard are already out the door.
Yep.
Basically, like what you call it, knock and dash or whatever it is.
Ding dong ditch.
Ding dong,
Yeah.
ditch.
I always call
Yeah.
it Mickey Nine Doors, but
I was like, knock and dash. Diner dash.
yeah.
Else.
Nonetheless.
She stretches. She gives herself a sniff. Perfect. Fingers through her hair. Spike, 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 spike. Ruffle up my little mullet.
Is it a fancy mullet? Is it a moulet?
A mullet. It's a mulity. Yep. I just like take some like lick my fingers and get the spikes going.
It's not pomade, it's goblin grease.
Got the grease.
100% natural.
Yeah. I make my own calyx with my licks.
Eventually,
Alright.
make it downstairs, and food is ready. There's actually a little better assortment of meat out there this time around. Actually, it's like breakfast steaks, kind of. You notice a bunch of different groups are there, and the Goliaths, Dragonborn. You got a Warforged, which is weird, but the Tabaxis, dwarves, gnomish people. Like the whole crew seems to be kind of down there, down and about. There's a bit of a bustle coming through into this cafeteria in the mess hall.
What do you think's going on in there?
Well, it isn't cooking.
Normally
Oh, no.
not
What if
this
it
many
is?
people. I don't know. Is today a special event? Am I forgetting something, Hal?
Well, it's not my birthday. Pretty sure.
I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's poke our heads in and see.
You poke your heads in, and it's just a general bustle going on. I think the smell of breakfast steaks kind of woke everybody up. The general rousal of, hey, good food. Nonetheless, it smells delicious. It smells absolutely delicious. You go up to where the food is being served, and still the rest of it's standard fare, but there's a lot of meat out there right now.
What's going on?
Don't know.
Pavlov dog thing. Drooling.
But it looks like there's a whole lot of breakfast.
Hal, is it your birthday?
Only in spirit.
Oh, well,
mean,
good
really,
to hear,
I hope
'cause
so. I'll get some
I didn't
cake
get you
then.
anything.
Not yet.
You don't like my gifts anyway.
Are you sure
Fair
he doesn't?
The next day, I see it in the back with the pigs.
Are you sure he didn't enjoy it with the pigs?
I'm not stupid. No.
Oh.
Meanwhile, I'm just in line. 4 bowls of food, please.
Sustenance. I would like a bowl of stuff my stomach can dissolve, please.
4 bowls of food, please. And so you basically get 4 bowls of like this most disgusting looking porridge that you ever got and everything to get.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
It's extra grey today.
A little more soylent.
Is there any sausage I can dip in this?
Yeah, and just to expedite the whole thing, you end up getting a whole smorgasbord of food, and yeah, it's like you get your real greasy sausages that really don't good, but you got thing in it. You got your protein and heart cloggage.
Yep.
But there is breakfast steaks going around. You ask around, and they're saying that a lot of the meat's about to expire, so it was like just all in, hand it out.
Mm-hmm.
We should
I would
grab an
like a
extra
stick
bowl
of
for
butter.
Fluffy.
Yeah. You only care about Fluffy. Bryony's not even in the picture.
How got 4 bowls?
Only for his appetite. What do you think?
I admire your commitment to make this reptile like you.
No, just to make it not eat me.
Well, and make it eat something else.
Mm.
Yeah, but food's pretty standard. Other than the steak, it's actually rather good. A bit tough at times. I think you think the person kind of overcooked it. Be like, whatever, throw it on. It turns gray. Spleen doesn't give a shit anyway. It's just
Got razor teeth. I'll bite through anything. Eat bones.
But during the breakfast meal, you hear a little bit of murmurings of like some of the crowd. There are crowds gathering and planning on doing a protest march right outside the Castle Onver. And that there's just it's scaring some people that it could lead into something dangerous, and other people are nah, it's just a peaceful protest. Hard to tell, but you get the general gist that there seems to be a march going. And as you're eating breakfast, you see Crimson Pride come in, and she comes in and announces, "All right, everybody. So we have been duty to take care and watch certain parts of Onver today. There are some marches that are planned and going around. So we have been asked by the Crown Guard to look after key points." And so with that, everybody starts chattering and muttering, "Don't worry. You will all be paid and everything will go perfectly fine. But we have special locations marked out for each of the groups that are still here within Onver." She starts handing out locations like the troubadours go out to Eastgate, and a bunch of the other ones start getting things in, and she comes up, "All right, them."
Please, Aunt.
Only 3 of them are there, so they're just the.
Sorry, Team The. Oh, sorry, the. You guys would be in charge of watching Lilac's Bridge.
All right.
Good. And she keeps going on with all the assignments that are going out. And afterwards, she's like, again, we're not to attack any of the people. They're upset, but they're not dangerous. Okay? If I catch any word that you guys have attacked anybody, I'm gonna have your heads personally. All right. You know your postings. Get going.
Well, let's go get Briny.
Right. Need to deliver some food anyway.
Yep.
Or it gets cold.
Also, Hal, I started working on sending into my spell book. I won't be finished until tonight, but start thinking about what we want to try and send NC.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Really, I think starting with "Do you know where you are?" is a good place
Yeah,
to.
that's a solid point.
Do you think they'll let us defend ourselves, if we are attacked? Because I'm not exactly uh, inconspicuous.
You know, I would think so. But I'll bring something that might help us just in case.
Do tell.
It'll only hurt them if they try to reach us. Something new.
Seems like something that may end up going well with, well, whatever Spleen might do as well.
Yeah?
I'll just punch him in the face.
Well, we aren't supposed to start the trouble.
Yeah, if they started, then I'll finish it.
Let's go get some sausage in this alligator.
Agreed.
You guys head upstairs. Standard fare. You walk into the door. Bryony and Fluffy are still in full cuddle session.
Aw.
And I assume you guys will just go straight to the point of, feed. You feed the alligator, you feed the other alligator, and and tell Bryony everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. And with that, you guys pretty much get ready and are heading right out the door.
Coax her awake with food.
As you guys are walking out, you see Libertia sitting at her post right in front. Right at front.
Wait. Do I have Fluffy with me?
I don't know, do you bring Fluffy?
Yes.
Okay. You see Libertia at her post as she's kind of just eyeing everybody as they're leaving. Everybody seems to be trickling out one little bit by little bit. But she immediately looks over and sees you, Bryony, sees the crocodile. Trying to remember if Libertia actually saw the crocodile or not.
I don't think so, because I think we came in late. Real late.
She immediately looks over at you, Bryony, looks down.
I'm still eating my breakfast, by the way.
Yeah, you're doing the anime girl toast in mouth
Just
maneuver.
um,
She looks down, looks back up. That would explain a lot of the noises I've heard in your room lately.
I found it in the walls.
Just stares at you. House staring. Just. You could get the old grandma, like, leveling look. That would be it. Just. Boom.
I am not maintaining a straight face for that.
Just looks back and takes a big big puff from her giant pipe. Breathes out, and the smoke is just flowing through her billowing form. Just her rotundness. Slicks her hair back and just says, "All right, you guys be careful out there. Okay?"
Okay.
We'll do our best.
For clarification, if they attack us, are we allowed to fight back?
Well, fucking course.
Sweet.
What do you think?
Just making sure.
Someone takes a swing at me, I'm gonna fucking fight. What do you think?
I mean, No, we'll just leave it at that.
Attaboy, now you're learning. All right, Brimey, sweetheart, you be okay.
See you tonight.
All right. Sweet. All right, get the fuck out, the whole lot of you. You guys bring Fluffy with you. On your way to Lilac Bridge, which is quite literally out, take a left, and the bridge is not more than 100 meters away. You guys start and maintain your posting. Whereabouts on the bridge do you post yourself? It's about 100. It's about 100 feet long. 100 foot long, about 40 to 50 feet wide. It's fairly big.
Probably just one end of it. Put up a mage armor just in case people get rowdy.
Mm-hmm. What end of the bridge, though? Close Guildside, close to Old Town, or close to Ashorn's Hollow, where Castle Onver would reside across.
Probably
I'll
on
go
that
on the
side.
side that's close to, yeah, Ashorn's Hollow.
Ashorn's Hollow? Okay.
Yeah.
Should we, two of us take either side of the bridge, or should we all stick together, do you guys think?
If you want to stick with the croc on the other end, that would be kind of entertaining.
Entertaining.
That was an apt.
Well, someone. Need to give him a cape.
So then you guys are splitting up?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sounds
could we
like.
still reasonably see and hear each other?
Well, I mean, not really. 100 foot
Okay.
apart.
Maybe not all the way at the ends of the bridge then. Just like
So,
partially
kind of like a
down
quarter
it.
each side.
Yeah. Enough that we can
Well,
still talk.
All right.
With that, you guys start watching your postings, and it's rather boring. General
Yeah.
start of the day is still like the hustle and bustle of crowds going back and forth, carts traveling with different wares, crates, everything. It is still a general like hub, or it is the main bridge that connects Ashhorn's Hollow, Old Town. So a lot of that, a lot of the trading and people going back and forth, that's what they do. You see people commuting to Ashhorn's Hollow for work. The general fare. Sitting there for a while, you guys start noticing that there is a general increase within the crowd sizes. You start realizing, okay, these people are now starting to actually like form a group, a mob.
Mm.
And so everybody make perception.
Good. Too.
Because you guys are actively looking. keeping sentinel.
17.
I
17?
also got a 17.
13.
15.
15? Right on. General where the crowd is, yeah, they look upset. The general lower end of the class spectrum, so you see a lot of dirtier people, but it's hard, like, you see like a lot of the hardworking people in the town, the laborers, the carpenters, everything else, just the working class. See a lot of them shifting up and in, up and through. With your perception checks, you're not really seeing anything at all. One person catches your eye. There's a male human. He's got slick back hair and kind of a longer robe on. He kind of doesn't. He's walking with that crowd, but it doesn't look like he really belongs.
Doesn't really look like a working class person.
Kind of. Give me your perception checks. You guys are looking at. Yeah, given your perception checks, you guys realize that, okay, so this is a little bit different. Because you see a lot of different styles and shapes and whatnot, but they usually have some sort of you usually get that vibe or feel off of them. This one person just hanging something.
Little too clean. Non-calloused hands.
He doesn't even go here.
And so, wait, who's at what end of the bridge?
Hal and I are closer to the Ashbourne Hollow.
And the girls are over by the guild, per se.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, the girls will pick them up because the crowd is coming in from Old Town and heading up.
Okay.
When he passes by, if he does,
Yeah.
am I able to get a good whiff of him? If he
Okay.
smells, I don't know.
A good whiff.
Yeah.
I will put that into the general. Yeah, your perception check there.
Mm-hmm.
So how close are you planning on getting?
How close does he get to the that side of the bridge?
Oh, they're starting from Old Town, so you guys actually are like the first checkpoint per se.
Hmm.
Just the watch, the vanguard there.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna walk up, just like nonchalant, just like looking at everybody like.
That's what I was waiting for.
You're not trying to be stealthy. You're just,
No. I'm not gonna be stealthy. I'm just kind of walking around, not touching them, just looking.
Okay.
Whistling.
You guys,
And every like other people, not just that one person, just like
Given your stout nature and your nimbleness, you're able to weave through the crowd rather easily. And you get the sense that he doesn't notice that you're there. So walking through, you just take a whiff. Smells like the sewers. And you
I
can
cast detect magic.
detect magic. What is the range on that?
30 feet.
30 feet? Are you okay? So, are you casting it as Spleen is coming through, or going through and doing that?
No. I'm gonna say no.
Okay, because
For the duration, you can sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any.
Lasts for 10 minutes, I think.
yeah, so you. Actually, you would just catch him when you first start casting, because he is still moving with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You cast it, and you do get a sense of magical aura.
and by the time I'll be walking back.
Yeah.
To her. So that that guy with the cloak, slicked hair, looks pretty funky different. I thought maybe it would I don't know, smell nice like hell. No, this guy smells like shit. Like the sewers. Like it smells just like that. So the fuck?
I do sense magic about him.
Freaking the carpet doesn't match the drapes. It was weird. Didn't look and didn't smell. When they don't smell like the way they look.
I don't think that's what that means. I'll have to ask.
So I think there's something up with that guy.
Definitely up.
Yeah, because they stole Hal's book, or the people that went into the sewers, or some shit like that. This guy smells like shit. It's fishy.
As you guys are talking, you hear the crowd behind you starting to yell and scream, but it's not like a mob scream. It's like a panic fear scream. As you do turn around, you see billowing smoke come from the center of town. Giant plumes of darkened smoke. Everybody sees this. And with the shockwave of everything happening, you see the crowd starting to run and kind of panic and just turn around, look in awe, but you hear also just
Let's go find the boys.
girls turn around, immediately start running, but as you do, you notice the guy unflip his cloak, raise his hands high, strikes two of the plated bracers on his wrist. As that happens, you see a spark and just a swirl of flame open right up. As that happens, you notice two large beings of just unamalgamated forms come out. You think it looks like fire, but you think it looks like water. It's hard to tell, but its form is shaped human-like. but with the like, its appendages are surrounded by what looks like molten lava or fire right in the middle of its veins, just pulsing right up its arms and its center core, breathing out. Roll for
Do I
initiative.
know what this is?
Oh my god, you just used like two things that I hate in one thing. Lava veins.
Yep.
Oh,
Ay, 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 ay.
Is the guy still there?
Die, 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 die. You
Okay.
can now dim the lights. Ooh, dark mode. Love it.
Love it. We're not using Roll20. We're gonna use
Oh,
Mind.
Theatering this one.
theater.
The behind.
Theater of the mind. Ooh.
All right, it's time. Okay, time to pull the hair back. Shit's getting serious.
I know.
I use hair flip. Whoosh.
Oh shit. Oh,
So
I get an advantage on initiative.
Yes, starting at level 7.
God, because that was bad. That's worse.
Oh,
So
no.
straight with the other one.
okay, so 25 to 20. Okay, 20 to 15.
15. Oh no.
15 to 10. Oh my god. Okay, just give me. 10 to 5.
7.
5.
Wow.
I rolled a 1 and 2.
Wow.
wow.
It was 2 first and then a 1. I was like, oh, that's worse.
Al, what is it?
No, I said it in the last time. It was 12.
Oh, it didn't come through when you
I
said
didn't
it.
come through.
Yeah, it didn't come.
I thought we were all below 10.
Yeah, I was like, oh
No.
no, how low is he?
It's everything. Now I have to do everything because of you.
Yay!
All right.
One ice cream.
Okay, there we go. With that, cool. As that happens, the crowd around them starts panicking and running. Starts panicking and running. You hear the screaming and you start trying to communicate with each other, but it's just too much noise at once. You're effectively deaf at this point. Other than you see what's there and the bigger noises, but when it comes to trying to
Everything's
communicate at this point,
drowned out.
yeah, you guys are kind of drowned out unless you're immediately right beside each other.
Okay.
The crowd that, so they're gonna start panicking and people are flailing everywhere. Actually, I'm gonna do this for you guys so you have a visual of what nights. There you go.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, so we
Oh.
can see a visual of what the creature looks like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It looks like that little slime dude from Treasure Planet, but like pissed off. Pissed.
Yeah, but nonetheless, one of those elementals immediately turns around, poosh, smacks the caster.
Done fucked up, AA Ron.
You done messed up, AA.
You done messed up.
I feel like that backfired.
Just like the last one.
Okay. We're just gonna go with that. With that. It would help if I actually prepared my dice.
It's here.
Woo!
Ow. Okay, it's the freaking sharp-ended dice. Don't do that. Don't just put your hand in.
yeah.
And
Ooh.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dice are supposed to cause you pain, but not in that way.
Okay. With that, they slam right down on the big guy or caster, and immediately starts turning around, firing targets. But with that, Howard, your move.
I would be first. How close are people?
How
on the
close to people?
bridge? Yeah.
With that, about 10, 15 feet away
Shit.
from where the elementals have opened.
How far am I from it?
You guys are about 40. Yeah, you guys are about 40 feet away from the center.
Okay. Oh. Don't have anything that'll shield people real well on a mass scale, so we're gonna try. There's 2 elementals, you said.
Correct.
Can I use that on more than one? No, I cannot. Well, the one that's swinging at the guy, is it still looking focused on him, or is it turned away?
It turned away from the guy or you?
Away from the guy. Is it like looking towards people now, or?
It's looking towards people now. Basically, what you saw was these two. I say they're giant, but they're actually medium-sized. But because of their
Amorphous
bigger-ish
form.
nature,
Yeah.
the amorphous form, and they stand higher than the crowd. You notice the one just turn around, hit into the crowd. Don't know what it hit.
Okay.
Hit into the crowd. Don't know what it hit, but now it's up and looking around.
We're gonna try casting Reduce on that thing, at least for the moment. Give it a
Okey-doke.
little less capability to swing at people. So it's a 15 con save.
15 con save? Okay, let's do this. 18.
So nothing happens.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna like start getting people to go past me. Just like go, get out of the way, go.
Cool. Okay, so that's that is your turn.
Yes.
Cool. So with that, it's done. The second elemental will now look and will take a swing into the crowd. That. Okay, so that's what it does. I'm still learning how this thing works. There's a little bit of. You notice one of them just wide swipe into the crowd, moving forward, wide swiping into the crowd, and you can see some of the people just burst into flame as they're going away.
cool.
And with that, that is its turn. Ow.
I'm gonna try my best with Ray of Frost.
Ray of Frost. What's the range on Ray of Frost? Because you're about 40 feet away from the center.
It's 60 feet.
It is 60 feet? Okay, so,
Mhm.
and what does it do?
It is, let's see. It's a ranged spell attack.
Range spell attack, but is it linear? Is it cone?
Oh,
area?
it's linear.
Beam.
Linear?
Mhm.
And so basically, it's single target, you pick it and it goes. Anything in
Yes.
between you and it is not going to get affected?
Um,
Because there is a large amount of, there is a crowd. There is a crowd right in front of you.
okay, so there's still people between me and it. I see.
Yeah, they're making their way out.
It says beam, so okay. Knowing that there's more people between me and it, I am gonna go with yeah, still all beams.
All right, hurry up.
Try and aim
Hurry
for
up.
above the crowd. They are a little bit taller.
Yeah.
All right, what are you doing, Hal?
So what? I'm gonna try and do. Oh, let's see here. That's not a good range. All right. Well, yeah, gonna have to try Ray of Frost, just aiming above the crowd.
Aiming above the crowd? Okay, so is it a spell? I make a save, you make an attack?
I just make an attack is what it's saying.
Okay. Well, all right. With that, we'll consider this 3/4 cover
Okay.
because you are trying to aim above crowd, trying to hit something that's moving. You're not hitting center
Right.
mass.
Higher AC. That makes sense.
Okay. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Well, here it goes.
Please.
Nine.
Looking at the crowd. Looking at the crowd and trying to think, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Like, it's not everything. Flying. You aim up. As you do, one elemental looks up. Just morphs like you hit the head, you think, but it just splits apart and comes back together just at that moment.
Yeah.
You have your movement bonus action.
I'm gonna try and get a little bit closer and get people out of the way.
Okay, so you're gonna start ushering the crowd. So yeah, if you guys are ushering the crowd, I can use this as they'll have extra movement on when it's their move.
Hey, I like that.
Okay.
So I can use that as a bonus action because it's quite literally like you do your action, you'd be like, okay, come on, move.
Hmm.
All right,
Okay.
Bryony. Oh, roll for Fluffy.
Which dice?
Initiative.
Which-
D20.
rather. 20?
Yeah, D20.
Look at the.
What does she add to
All
that?
right. Because I actually was going to have Fluffy do something if I was allowed.
Well, Fluffy's got, seeing as it is docile, and at this point you've successfully done 3 animal friendships on it. It is not tamed, but it will highly listen to your suggestion.
All right.
You got a good team.
Do I use my animal handling modifier?
No.
No?
For Fluffy, it's just a straight roll.
You're going in raw?
Going to roll. Well, actually, no. Fluffy will be a part of your turn. At this point, it'll just be kind of an companion.
Okay.
So you can do your actions and whatnot, but then Fluffy also has his own actions that is attached to your turn.
Okay.
Okay. But with that, you're on the floor.
All right. So if I cast a spell here, do I get a bonus action? A bonus Fluffy action?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Like Fluffy, like you have your turn, and Fluffy has his own separate turn on. Like it's all together. Just easier for me to figure that out.
Tight.
Yeah.
All right. Is anyone within 5 feet of either of the creatures?
No.
Awesome.
No, you get a good feeling that people are taking a wide berth and they're kind of dispersing away.
Okay. I'm going to use my new spell from leveling up. I'm going to use Ice Knife. Go, time for you to cool off.
Yes. All right. So what range is that? You're about 40 feet away.
It's 60 feet.
60 feet. Perfect. All right. Fire it. So it's you make an attack, I make a save. What is it?
I think that
Let
one's
me
an attack.
read. Yeah, create a shard of ice and fling it at one creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 piercing damage. Hit or miss, the shard then explodes. The target and each creature within 5 feet of it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Cool.
Oh, so it's both
Right
an
on.
attack and a save.
It is an attack and a save. Okay, so you make the attack first.
Yes. And that I just roll
Roll a
D20.
d20.
And then add your spell attack modifier, which should
Spell
say
attack?
it right next to the spell.
Oh, I got a 28.
Ooh. Is that an actual 20?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
I don't
crit.
think I've ever done that before.
That's a
That's a
crit.
Crit.
And
Right
thank
on.
you for the follow with some
Yeah.
amazing timing.
There you go. This is how we do it. Right on. So, but with that,
Do it.
you're like, there. You kind of form the ice knife in your hand, dropping one shoulder and kind of shot putting it around, really anime Naruto style with the kunai. You throw it. It just weaves through the crowd. Just poosh, hits one of the elementals right, like right in its shoulder. You see it lunge right forward. Roll for damage.
So be aware, with a critical, the way this works, Olivia, is the damage you said that the initial damage it does when you make the attack roll, you roll that dice, and then you roll it again and add them together because it's a critical.
Dang.
Yeah, so any die...
Wait, is that what critical roll means?
Yeah. And any
learned
dice
something
roll
today.
that is part of your attack, you roll it twice and add it together.
Well, I got a 5 and a 4, so I got a 9.
So that is 18.
Okay.
And so is that that's cold damage, right?
I think the initial is piercing.
Yeah, the first one is 1d10 of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then make a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Okay, so dex save, and that would be a 15, right? Wow. That's a 22 dex.
Ah, damn it.
So do they take half damage on that?
They would take half damage on that.
Okay. So now you gotta roll damage for the explosion of the knife. You said that's what, 2d6, Olivia?
Yep.
It says succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Oh, okay. So they take nothing on a save? Bless you.
Bless you.
S.
Yeah, I guess that's
What's this called?
Ice knife.
Ice knife.
Bless you.
Pretty
Bless
self-explanatory.
hit or miss. The shard explodes. Each target within must or take 2d6 cold damage. Yeah, it doesn't say on a failed. Wow, that's really weirdly worded.
I know.
It must
it
be
is.
because it's a 2-part attack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's still 18 points of damage.
Yeah, it's still a good chunk.
Get
Elemental.
wrecked.
Okay, so that elemental takes a knife right in and blows right out. Movement bonus action. Anything else? And
I
then
have Fluffy, if I'm allowed to do this, help me in moving the crowd off the bridge and away from the elementals, which is basically just now they have a crocodile chasing them too.
Run faster.
I love that.
Just in case
Okay,
the
make
elementals weren't enough of a motivator.
make an intimidation check for Fluffy.
I
Just
love that.
And also he can like push them with his tail and just like sweep them off.
okay. You bend down. You whisper in his ear, "Hey, help the people. Get them off the bridge." And you just see Fluffy take right off. Make an intimidation check. So basically, roll a d20, add 2.
I got a 14.
14, so 16.
No, I got a 14 total with like 2 added because I rolled a 12.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that works. So, I mean, people are yelling and screaming, and now they see like a crocodile right there. They're still making a wider berth, but you're funneling them more effectively now with Fluffy.
Yes.
All right.
Oh God, Fluffy became a
Alright.
sheepdog.
Yeah, they're
This border collie's a bit scaly. Clean.
Hi.
Go.
Okay. Oh. Well, I like to take my bonus action and rage.
Roger. All right. Stomping the ground, you see that everybody else sees the scales crawl up the neck, the nose start elongating, your hair, and like mascara with red flares on it,
Yeah.
hair starts spiking and having red tips on it. Go.
Let's fucking go. Okay. How far is it from me?
40 feet.
Perfect. That's exactly my speed. It's like one or like both of them are there.
Both of them are there. Actually, no, one of them kind of moved up a bit to go attack the crowd. So the one that Bryony hit was the one that took out the original guy.
Okay. Question. When I was on the edge of the bridge, is there water underneath the bridge?
There is water underneath the bridge.
Okay, when it did its attacks on the civilians, what did it hit the bridge? Does it seem like is it a stone bridge?
The bridge is a stone bridge. It's metallic and it's very much a very modernized bridge. It is super strong and structural. It's almost like a suspension, but it isn't. It's best way to do it. It's like a mix of London Bridge, but with more industrial elements to it.
Okay, so it's very sturdy. Okay. I was like, let's make this bridge just fall beneath them and go in the water.
God, you would too.
I was like, make them hit the bridge, so I'll taunt them. You know, I want to do that. I want to get close to them,
Okay.
and I want to, I guess, make what is it called? Like dodge action.
So
I would like attack them, and I want to like taunt them, but like be ready for them to attack. You know, try to make them hit the bridge.
you won't be able to do both. You can take the dodge action.
Yeah.
You can run up and take the dodge action so that they have disadvantage on any attack against you.
Mm-hmm.
But doing any sort of taunting maneuver would be an action, or like
Yeah.
you'd have try and do
Okay. Actually, yeah. Let's go ahead and take the dodge action.
that. All
I'm
right.
just gonna get right up on them.
All right. running right through the crowd. You're weaving right through, and because of your nimble nature, you're able to just. And you're kind of like animalistically running on all fours as you're doing it. Like what you call it? Sabretooth from the movie.
Yeah.
Where he's like full blown just
Mm-hmm.
when he's
Yeah.
doing an animalistic run, he's just going. You do that, you run right up, and as you put your hand on the ground, you kind of like you do an initial hiss just to get the attention, but it's not. You get close. You get right up on one of the elementals.
Yeah. Well, like 5 feet away from one.
5 feet away. You do that. You feel the immense heat
Ugh.
from this elemental coming right through. You will also take 5 points of damage. Reduce it, so 2 of fire damage.
Oh. It's just physical damage that I'm resistant to. I'm not resistant to elemental damage.
Okay, so 5 fire damage.
Just fine. Mm-hmm.
What about emotional damage?
I'm vulnerable.
But with that, it is. Never mind. That is. It's not. It's not a presence. It's not a presence aura. It's. You take that back. I just double checked it. My apologies.
It just looks really hot.
It's just.
It just looks smoking.
If it has a hole, spleen will fuck it.
If it's got a hole, it's got a gold.
That's your turn. The crowd with some of the crowd that is being ushered by Howard, Halsterian, and Fluffy. The crowd disperses rather quickly around from where these elementals are. With that, you guys have about 20 feet, 25 feet of berth between the elementals and the crowd now. You guys still got about what looks to be about 10 feet, 10, 15 feet people in front of you. That is the other elemental. So the one that got hit with the ice knife immediately hears the hiss, turns around, goes right for an attack, which will be at disadvantage. Goes right down. Boosh! You immediately dodge right out of the way. You feel the splashing of the water and the water and like heat from it. It should technically evaporate, but it doesn't because it's scalding hot. You just get like the little splashes of it, so it's not a full effect.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you feel. With that is its turn. That is its turn. Howard. Oh.
So there's roughly 10 feet of people in front of me and roughly 40 feet to the creatures. That's not gonna do so great. We're gonna move into a how far apart are the elementals?
How far apart are the elementals? One is at its original position. The other one's about 10 feet away.
Can I get close enough to catch them both in a 15-foot cone?
You'd have to move through a crowd. Spleen was able to get through because of her small nimbleness.
But it's difficult terrain.
It's not. I would say 3/4, so you probably got about 20 feet of your movement instead of.
Okay. We'll get as close as I can, and if I can catch one of them, No, we'll get past the people first, and throw a chromatic orb at the one that's not attacking Spleen.
Okay.
Probably a lightning orb.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, you running through the crowd. You get the whiffs, the smells, the sense of scared people, and obviously you get some resistances of trying to rush through, and people are. It's a panic. But as that's happening, you're able to actually get through. You pop out, look, and you acquire your target. How do you cast it?
A ball is going to start forming on the outside of one of his gloves on the focus. And he's just going to grab it off of the glove and just kind of roll it towards the feet of the elemental.
Cool. And you do just that. It rolls. So that's a dex save for me, or
that's an attack roll, and it's a natural 20.
Did you actually?
How
yeah,
casual. Just
it
like,
is.
oh yeah.
Well, I rolled it a couple of minutes ago.
I'm just gonna roll it, and this is there.
I rolled it earlier while he was talking, and I was like, oh.
You roll this ball, it flies through the air. The elemental that was just taking out a couple of people doesn't even realize. It impacts with its form. When it does, you see the jolts of lightning just boiling right through this water. It is. If you could hear an elemental scream, it is writhing with. Roll your damage.
She's laughing at it.
No, come back. 18. Brain. 25. 29 damage.
29?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There were a couple of really high rolls in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's lightning damage then? All of it?
Yes.
Excellent. That was a good roll,
Oh,
man.
did I hit the...
Yeah.
the... Yeah.
Right on. With that, so that is your turn. You did your movement, no bonus, no nothing?
No, nothing else.
Cool. The elemental that just got hit kind of just shifts around. Like, it doesn't turn. It just morphs into the direction.
It's just... What was that?
It looks
Got it.
right at you.
Oh, thank you for the subscription.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for subscribing.
Hey.
Oh, we appreciate the subscription. Thank you for subscribing with your Prime. I hope you enjoy this day, and I hope you're enjoying the show. But with that, Howard, it's gonna come right towards you, and you think in its form it would walk, but it actually just kind of like it just kind of slides across the ground, leaving a trail of just steaming watery vibes. It's gonna come up. 20 to hit. Dirty.
20 to hit. We're gonna use that spell we just finally inscribed and cast shield and bump the AC up to 22.
22? Oh, sure.
Oh, panic! Oh no! Boom!
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, what with that? All right, so he raises both hands up, very Star Trek style, Kirk overhand, double hit, whacks right down, and it connects, and it feels the power, but also you see, you just see like fire and the water just right around you. That's its turn. It makes its move. That's its turn. Alsterian.
Yeehaw!
So for the elemental that just attacked Howard,
Yep.
I'm going to cast Blight.
Yabble.
No holds barred.
Blight. So that is very much single target.
Yes. Con save of 15.
What's range?
30 feet.
30 feet.
Oh, I will need to move closer to get there, but
Yeah, you'll have to move a little bit closer to get there. It's not full range. You don't have to do your full range. You got to move it about 10. But with a crowd, it kind of takes about 15 feet of your movement to do that.
okay.
Okay, so you doing what Howard did, pushing through the crowd, trying to get people out of the way and getting closer. You finally acquire your target. Like, how do you cast it? If you wish for me to do it, just let me know.
I'm lifting my hands and like I'm trying to motion like I'm parting the seas. Life be gone from you!
Yeah.
Right on. So what do I got to do?
Con save 15.
Con save 15. Oh. All right. That's a 9.
Oh, wonderful.
Does that have an extra effect against water creatures or just plants?
Just plants.
Okay.
That's 32 damage.
32 damage. What kind of damage?
Necrotic.
Okay.
Bye, boys.
That was necrotic. So 32 damage.
It's 8d8.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's mean.
That's
It
gonna be some
dehydrates
nasty
the
hot
hell out of
water.
anything.
Gonna be some.
You reach right out. You feel the blight take effect. Howard, you see this thing turn immediately black. All the water just starts turning bile. Gross. It kind of just starts clumping together. You notice this thing just start trying to go for another attack at you, but as it does, it starts like slumping right down, just and it just disappears. It pools out, but the heat is immediately dissipated, so you get the water, but it's not.
Oof. I don't think that was me. Was that me?
All right. Jesus. All right, but with that, it is that's your turn. Bonus action. Any other movement?
Nah.
Excellent. Bryony.
Mm.
Spleen, you're on deck.
So the other one's still standing, right?
The other one is still standing. Spleen is in front of it. There is still a crowd in front of you. So if you want to get closer to try and hit with a spell,
Yeah.
you'll have to move a little forward if it requires a clear line of sight. Or
I mean, this one I'm thinking of, it's 120 feet.
okay,
So, like, I'm fine.
it's 120 feet, but is it like single target acquire, or is it?
It is single target with a range of 5 feet, 5 foot radius.
Cool. All right.
So is spleen safe?
I'm never safe. What do you mean?
I mean,
Well, if it's a
Do
radius,
what
you
you
could
wanna
hit
do.
behind it.
Just do what you want to do.
Yep, just do what you got. Do what you got. Yeah, if you're doing, I'm
Don't
assuming
worry
you're
about
doing
me.
moonbeam.
Don't worry about me, baby. Don't worry about me.
you guessed
Take it.
right. I cast Moonbeam.
I love it. All right. Tell me how you cast it. If you don't want to do it, I can do it.
Yeah, you go ahead. Because I kind of have an
Surprise us.
idea of what it looked like, but I'd like to hear yours.
Excellent. Looking out throughout the crowd, you notice the head of the one elemental that just took a swing at what you couldn't see what it was taking a swing at. But you saw another one just immediately turn black and dissipate. You think, okay, that's the one. You put your hand on your newly formed staff. And you're like, whew! Reach right up. Spleen. All you see is just like a little trickling of light. Just
I'm feeling.
land right in front of you. This giant white beam comes out of the sky, and it seemingly comes out of nowhere. Bryony, roll for damage. Roll for attack or damage, whatever it is. It's. I gotta make a save with that, don't I?
Con 16.
On 16. Yep. Well, that's a 3.
Radiant damage. Okay. Roll for attack.
Roll. No. Roll
No,
for your
it-
damage.
It failed its save, so you just gotta roll
Oh.
damage.
This is a 10. 5. Oh wait, that's not a 10. I
Is it an
apologize.
8?
Hang on. Damn it. Where the hell is my D10?
Yeah, it looks like a spaceship.
Yeah,
They all look like spaceships.
like
Arguably.
this.
It's fine. It's a little more advanced version of that one that looks like Evangelion.
Again, you're going to have to be more specific.
Sometimes they count by tens on the d10s.
Oh,
Instead of
I have
by
one of
1, 2,
those.
3, 4. Yeah. Because they're
Yes.
used for the percentile
Thank
dies,
you.
but it's same thing.
that is an 8 and a 4.
So how much damage?
It's 2 D10s. So that would be 12.
12
8
damage?
plus 4.
8 plus 12. And what kind of damage is that?
Oh, it's radiant damage.
Oh, so
And does it trigger that damage at the start of its turn? Or only when it first enters? I don't remember how that one works. I just remember it persists.
gotta ask. You gotta start asking all the hard questions to me. I don't know your spells. Read them. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, it doesn't really specify that I can tell.
Takes
It just says you
to.
cast a big old light.
When it enters its turn, when it enters the area for the first time or starts its turn there.
Okay, it's inflamed and goes. Okay, yep, that works. Cool. Moonbeam. Moonbeam happens. Oh, but that. Yeah. So that's the damage is taken. Is what's Fluffy doing? Still hurt in the crowd?
Yeah, he is guarding the back of the gate by like standing across it, like,
Yeah.
so he covers at least most of the entrance.
Okay, cool. So, but there's still a bit of a crowd moving out, but Fluffy is kind of doing his herding tactics. So
Yeah, he's just like gesturing with his tail as Mm. Mm.
Knock
All
the
right.
occasional person into the water.
Your turn. Spleen.
Yeah.
Spleen.
Okay. I'm super excited. Like from looking from the other one, what's going on with the boys is like looking back for like, oh, movie.
You start your turn in it, so.
Yep. Ow.
So 2d10 damage.
Okay, do I get any sort of direct save or something?
That's right, you get your
Close, didn't
con save if I'm right.
Or is it con save?
Con, yeah.
Con.
Yes.
Con save. Oh, what about it? The 22.
So you
half
pass the
damage.
save, so I'll just roll 2d10 here. That's a 5.
5.
5 divided by 2.
Oh, no, I'm not resistant
You
to
made your
radiant.
save.
You made your save.
Half damage.
Oh.
Yeah, so you get the half. Remember, we don't care about your rage.
Listen. I thought you rolled like a 10 and you said, and I was like 5. Okay.
So you get 2 radiant damage on top of your turn. Go.
Okay.
Alright. This is double because I'm a fiend.
No. All right. I would like to just like step out of it. But still be within range of the other one, and I'm super duper excited to see it in pain, and I want to cause it more pain. So
Okay.
I want to make an attack.
You'll make an attack. All right, make an attack.
Yay! I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna battle axe it up. I'm gonna two-handed.
Hell yeah. 16.
That'll hit.
Okay. That's a 10 plus 4 plus 2. 16 damage.
What is the damage?
It is. What is this? Slashing.
So it's all slashing.
Yes. I don't have any magic. So
So,
it's
oh no,
slashing.
the 2 is your rage. What is the what's slashing?
Slashing is the 14.
14.
Mhm.
Okay. There. That's your one hit.
Oh, yep, that's first attack.
You're gonna take 8 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Once you overhand strike, stepping out of the radiance of the moonbeam, gain yourself a proper striking distance on it, and you do an overhand strike, square right into the center of mass. As it does, it spews out this molten flaming like
Oh my god!
whatever it may be. It just sprays right out at you.
Oh no. That's a problem. 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 I fucking hate these.
When it attacked the bridge that one time, did it leave anything like a mark, or did it cause damage to the bridge?
No, you're looking around and you notice that, like, yeah, there's damage to the bridge, but this thing is not moving it.
Okay. What should I do? I know. I'm gonna attack it again.
Again,
I'm making another attack. Okay. That is 25.
25 will hit.
That's 9 plus 4, 13. Slashing plus 2, so of
13.
rage. So 13 and then plus 2. 13, yeah. So 15. And this is like half or resistance, anything like that.
Yep. So got that. You hit again. You take another 4 points of damage of fire damage
Okay.
as you wail again. Taking the axe out, you immediately go in for another strike and try and hit it from its side. You do. It finds purchase right where you think would be like the rib cage, just following your anatomy of what you like killing. You think, okay, this is not going to hit me here. Fires right back at you again.
Fuck, I don't care anymore. Bonus action attack.
Bonus action attack, go for it.
Okay, 21.
21.
Hit. And then that's a 1d8.
Cool, that'll hit.
8 damage.
8 damage.
I don't know. Damn, these rolls. 8 and then plus 2. So it's 8 slashing and then 2 rage.
Yep. All right. With that, this thing is looking extremely hurt. Those 2 purchases, you see, like, even though it's splattered hot shit at you, it's just like it's still seeping and it looks ragged.
What's my 3rd splatter damage?
Oh, that? That's another 9.
Okay.
I'm rolling high on this D10, man.
Shoot, my rolls too. I'm rolling like almost max. 10, a 9, and an 8. Like,
Yeah.
freaking fricks. Ah, man. Okay, yeah. It's my turn.
And it's your turn. Okay, so the crowd with everything ushering, they're about 40 feet away now. Everybody sees that, like, each other now, and the noise is kind of dissipating as that's happening.
Spleen is just like, it's in my eyes.
Howard, it is your turn.
Seeing Spleen flailing around, I'm gonna get right up on it, opposite of her, and I'm gonna try and sculpt a frost fingers around her in a way that it will damage the creature and cool her off.
Oh my.
Maybe
Cool.
ease a little bit of that burning. And I'm going to
Yeah.
cast it at a 3rd level. No, don't
right, so,
actually roll
tell me what I
the
need to
die.
do.
That's 15 con save.
15 con.
Mm-hmm.
That is a natural 20.
Oh, which is half damage. Yeah, so half damage.
That's what
That's
gives
10,
it to
that's an
chew
8.
5 gum. Chew.
And any liquids still on the bridge not being carried or worn are frozen. 6, 7, 8. What the?
Snaky snake.
6, 7, 8, 15. So 7 damage total.
7 damage total.
Yep.
Howard, finish it.
Well, we're gonna try and turn it into a popsicle for Spleen.
Seeing the
Frozen, but she's gonna be like,
hold on. Seeing the elemental turning. There's words. The elemental that was harrying you, turning black and melting right in front of you. You take a couple seconds to reacquire. He's like, shit, that happened to me. Look over and you see Spleen just wailing on this other elemental. Throwing your hand out, doing the incantation as it's going. It reaches. Not like I learned that stuff.
TikTok dance. I can't get to you.
The frost throws itself from your hand. When it reaches the elemental, it embeds it right into its skin. You notice the ice crystalline structure just going right through its body. You notice that the heat is trying to fight it off, but it just doesn't have enough fight in it anymore. Finally, it gives in. Spleen, you got an icicle standing right in front of you. It's kind of statuesque in its form.
What the fuck?
And look over.
Oh, fuck, Howard. Thanks!
Smack.
And with that, it shatters. You don't even need to make an attack. It just one solid hit just from you.
My eyebrows.
You doing okay over there?
And with
Yeah,
that,
it squirted at me every time I hit it.
yeah, you guys see like the heat blistering from all the magma.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Haven't seen these in a while.
With that, the initiative is the fight is.
Oh, shit.
so we have received a party appreciation for me to redeem. Do you want to do that now or towards the end of the game?
Let's do it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't
got
let us
that.
forget that I need to do that, please. Chat.
Aki la tova.
Let me.
It's from Mama.
Yep.
What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mama. All right.
Here.
Oh.
Hey there, baby.
Damn. Oh man.
It's not like I've been
Here.
practicing Johnny Bravo. No.
I'll
So-
do this to remind you.
Did you do the thing? This
Perfect.
That's on all of you for teaching me how to change my name midstream. I won't stop now.
No, never stop. Never stop. It's hilarious. With the crowd dissipating and both elementals gone, you see the charred corpse of the man right.
Search his body. Strip him naked. Doesn't deserve clothes.
You start looking through, and there really isn't much. What wasn't magical got burned right up, but you see the bracers that were plated. And I'm just gonna save you the roll because they look exactly the same as the other bracers that you had, but they're
We
now
do our
plated.
question.
And it's just-
These look exactly like the other braces that we found. And there's nothing else that's really valuable on his body.
Except that the previous ones were leather, right? And these ones are
The other
metal.
ones are leather, this one are plated, so it's obviously marking of something.
So, I knew
Uh,
he smelled like shit because you stupid. Okay.
how are things looking over where the explosions
Yep.
were?
About to just say that.
With that, you look over.
Wait.
You don't hear any more of the commotion. You definitely see smoke rising. And with that, you start noticing like some of the Crown's guards running on the bridge. And so a lot of them are just running to where the big ruckus is. You get one of them coming up asking, "Hey, what's going on? What happened here?"
Some dude summoned some elemental creatures of some kind, and we tried to stop them as fast as we could, but some people got caught in the fire. Most got out.
Kind of looks over to where some of the charred people are. He looks. All right. You're with the guild, right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll know who you are. We'll get. Yeah. We got bigger things to go, and he starts running. Starts running. You guys are tentatively kind of alone little bit of just a pocket of quiet. The eye of the hurricane. So be it.
Just kind of look around like, well, I had something to contain people,
Oh, I think I
not
swallowed
creatures made partially of fire, heat. Wouldn't work so well on them, probably.
You guys are.
And it's just kind of quiet around us.
It's just quiet. There, like you hear some screaming off in the distance, and you think you're going to see some people come your way, but not anymore.
So, I don't know if you saw how those things were summoned, but like he did some like this like Power Ranger looking and like transform, and there was two of them. Those dudes, yeah, the ones we just killed, and then he ate the shit because it attacked him right after. So they can't control what they summon, and we know that because we've seen it before. But don't they need a circle?
Maybe not.
It may depend on the differences in the gauntlets.
Might.
Or is
But
it like the town where it was just like a huge ass circle?
No, I kind of doubt that.
Because how do you know that's like... Okay, so we know of one big attack that's like somewhere over there of explosion. The one that we're at... Where is there any... How do we know there's not any more further out in the town?
There could
Guess
be.
we'll find out.
I'm almost certain that there are.
So it could be another big ass circle.
There could. We should probably warn them. Are you gonna hang on to those bracers, Spleen, or...
Fuck no, here. Ew.
Hand to Hal.
They are warm to the touch. I mean, for Hal, it's just camel, but
So it's like hot potato. You take them. And then Hal...
I'm the potato.
Hal just grabs him.
Like,
I got second degree burns.
Yeah, you're still hearing crowds off in the distance. Now some people are actually coming through this way. Just some are running, others are just kind of walking really fast. See tiredness from them and soot covering their eye, like their faces and what. It's kind of get the gist that Hell is kind of there.
Can we stop one of them and ask them?
Yeah, I mean,
how
you
bad it's
come up
looking
and it's
over
just
there.
one of them is like a woman and her child, just carrying the thing. The child's crying, soot, and it looks kind of like the child's burned and well tattered and everything. And she just looks up. What do you ask?
What direction did you come from? Did you find another one of those freaking boiling elemental things? We killed two of them. Is there more attacks? Or is it the one that was not too far with the big explosion?
The child looks up.
Just like grab Spleen's shoulders and start pulling her away.
Where'd you come from?
And the mother just goes,
What do you work for?
Second August Austin Powers reference.
And not the last.
How perfect she had to go, right as I'm dragging her away from the child.
The mother immediately goes to console the child, picks the little girl up, and she's like, "We were just walking in the main square. We didn't know what happened. We just heard these loud noises, and I started feeling heat in my body. I looked over, and there was these big things out there. I don't know what they are. I just had to run. Just had to run."
Did they look like giant creatures made of lava, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm tired. Just starts kind of wandering off. You kind of get the like the post-traumatic stress kind of kicking in, or would that be, what is the technical term for that? It's not. Well,
Shock?
yes, it would be. Yeah, like I would say shell shock, but that's not exactly the right term.
Almost like it's the adrenaline wearing off.
Yeah, like the adrenaline's wearing off. You see her kind of like fading, but moving on.
Dissociate.
See.
Well, we're supposed to guard here, but I think here is covered.
No one wants to be here anymore.
Yeah.
If you'd like, perhaps we can leave Fluffy with a sign that just says "grr" and leave it at that,
Probably.
with a hand movement as well.
See if we can go see how things are over there.
So people would presumably be coming from where I guess the other elementals are and crossing the bridge to escape them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fluffy, you're on crossing guard duty.
It is a like 40-50 foot wide bridge. It is fairly
I know,
long.
but in case of a stampede, we still saw how crazy people got, so.
Exactly. All right.
Before we go, if I may, Howard, you have the spell sending now, do you not? Can we
Not quite.
perhaps? No?
It's not quite ready. I need a little more time.
It's a shame. I was hoping we could communicate with your friend X's.
Yeah, I was hoping so too, but not quite yet.
Very well.
This is why we can't have nice things, Howard.
Soon. Tonight. Maybe we should go check in at the guild.
I mean, the guild is not far from where you are. You're walking up, and the general hustle and bustle is now gone, and you see some people just kind of like aimless, like the shock arrive just from seeing a traumatic. It's not exactly pretty to see. Walking up to the guild hall, you notice Libertia, like the main doors are wide open, and you see Libertia ushering in a couple of the other guildies. Like the dwarf with the red hair is like burned badly, and you notice that he's kind of like not screeching in pain, but just you could just feel him hurting from that. And so she's like, "All right, get him on a stretcher. We're gonna get him into the medical hall. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get him healed right up. Get some burn. Get some hot water." And she's kind of doing mom mode.
Mhm.
What it is.
How far are they taking the injured to be treated into the guild?
Medical hall is not far. It's first floor, so they'll have basic treatments and whatnot. You would think they would go to the hospital, but some guild people do get treated.
Mostly around the corner.
Yeah.
Like right inside, around the corner, basically.
Yeah, and given that it's a burn, hospital may not be a good spot for him just right now.
Yeah.
Immediate access, get something done. Because you guys have had injuries throughout your years being within the guild itself, so you've gotten injuries within town, and it's just easier to go back to the guild and get patched up.
Are there a lot of guildies in there getting treated, or just a few of them trickling in at the moment?
As far as you can see right now, there's only a few.
Okay.
And so you walk in. So are you following people into like the medical area, or?
Just kind of poking my head in a little to see if they could use a little extra help. But if it's only a few people at the moment,
You stick your head in, and there's a dwarvish woman there. A dwarvish woman there. She's in her element, like telling a couple people, okay, get this person tied down. We're gonna get this person tied down so they stop moving, so we get things set right. And kind of notice that there's, from just the general look, there are burns, but there's also like unset bones, or like dislocated, like a dislocated shoulder. So
okay.
it seemed to be very basic, the injuries, at least at visual.
Yeah.
But there's only a few people.
All right. I'll just stay out of their way then.
Yeah.
I'll head over to Libertia. Pardon, do you know if there are any other areas that need further assistance?
All of Old Town is under attack. We don't know what the hell's going on. Three of the main squares have been hit. We don't know of anything else right now.
Should we go out on patrol?
Anywhere
say
you
that one
want
more
us?
Should we go out on patrol?
Honestly, if you can find any information, anything is good right now. We could be under attack. We just don't know.
Gonna have Hal pull out the bracers real quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that she can see them. And just, Libertia, this is, someone summoned a few of these creatures on the bridge with these. They just smashed them together. If you see anyone wearing anything like these, keep them away from the guild hall. Call whoever you need to help.
Okay. That I can do. Let me take a quick look at them. And she's just kind of like grabs them, flips them around. All right. I know what I'm doing. All right. And she pulls out a stone. Pride, if you see people with metal bracers on, take them out immediately. Kind of just talks into it, and that's about it. All right. Get out there. Let's find something.
We will head out immediately in whichever direction she recommends.
Just follow the screams and the smoke. And maybe go to the direction that there's no smoke.
Understood. Before we go, I think it may be prudent if I am able to send you messages remotely. If you write your name in this book, I'll be able to contact you.
He just looks at you wide-eyed and kind of like, what are you getting at, New Blood? Make a persuasion check.
Very good.
Oh no. Oh, of all times.
It's like, I don't know how to spell my name.
I'm not writing my name in any book of yours, New Blood.
You can put it right next to Howard's if you wish.
He looks over at you.
It actually,
You're stupid to actually do that.
I mean, it actually works. I was curious.
I'll take it the old-fashioned way. Get the fuck out there.
As you wish.
We'll just have to convince her another time, Hal.
Oh, that'll work.
I don't think she knows how to write her name. It's alright, me too. I don't know how to write mine either.
So, where are you guys heading?
Probably towards Old Town and the screams.
Cool. Right on. You immediately head out the door, out past front gates. You turn left, start running right towards where a majority of the flames, or the smoke is. That's happening. Weaving through the center of town. Yeah, a lot of that. Like, you don't sense the fear and panic anymore. Just the general, like, okay, so whatever big event had happened, gone, but you're still rushing towards it. You head right into the center of Old Town, one of the main squares, and you see this place absolutely lit up. It is like there are fires everywhere. They're not huge anymore, but you can tell that there was a lot of fire damage, and a lot of people have been putting an effort into putting them out. And so Crown's Guard in black are out and around just kind of doing basic patrol patterns, and you see the wear and tear of battle and damage that had happened, but you do not see any body. Because at this time it's about an hour after everything, so a lot of things. Like, if anybody was hurt, was probably already carried right out.
Yeah.
Any of the leftover bodies were kind of just taken away.
Hal, it would probably be a good idea for us to go give one of those sets of racers to the Master Summoner. At least let them see a better look at them so they can let all the town's guard know what to look out for, anyone wearing those. If they're able to summon them that quickly.
Unless there is sign of a circle. Or multiple.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out for circles, of course, as always, but that's trouble.
Seems like it's been trouble for the entirety of Falskallan.
Yeah, and getting worse.
You have to wonder if we're just going to be white noise if they've already seen these gauntlets. I mean, there's certainly been enough instances of these attacks.
That's true.
You're off in the background. Wait, Goose? You look over and you see Exus absolutely charred. Like, his hair is singed and his plated armor is as singed as his fur. You see Lucky and Mellow with him. The two Tabaxi are part of his legion.
How are they looking?
They're hurt. They are absolutely
Making my way over to them real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And any immediate help I can give them, just like cooling off wounds or anything with like frostbite, I'll do.
Ooh,
Make
As
a
make a
frostbite.
medicine check with an arcana.
a medicine and an arcana together.
Yeah.
Like roll each one and then tell you what
Yeah.
each is? Okay.
Yeah. Roll each one and tell me what each is.
Well, boy, I'm glad I could sculpt shit. What is my medicine? So that's a total of 4 for medicine,
Okay.
with a 1 on the die.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Arcana is a 16.
And the arcana is 16. Okay, so you know that you can sculpt because of your ability to sculpt. This is why the DC was lowered significantly. You know that you would be able to actually cool off a lot of the skin, but given that you're not you're well versed in treating some combat wounds, you know that this may not be within your realm, and if you try it, it's going to. You may do more harm than.
Okay. I won't do anything then.
Yeah.
If I am not knowledgeable enough to know the extent of what I can do to treat the wounds without causing damage, I'm just going to refrain.
Exactly. And
I'm
given
gonna walk up to Exus and give him a pat. Be like, ha! You 3 look like shit.
You would? Of course, little lady. Oh, looks like you went through a little bit of shit too.
Yeah.
He kind of just lifts up half your hair there. Ooh, that's a good blister.
I know. I can't wait to pop it.
Lucky comes up. Oh, Nubla. Did you get yourself dirty?
Just enough.
Like a guy who gets dirty.
Oh!
She wasted no time getting on you again.
Oh!
Mello comes up. Oh, jeez, come on, man. Just give it a rest. Go. Just they immediately turn around, kind of walk off and away. But yeah, Exos comes up and just, man. So where were you?
We were over on the bridge.
On Lilac's Bridge?
Yeah. Did you see what happened here?
No, I was part of out in the West Legions.
Over at the bridge, we had just one guy smashed these bracers together and summoned a few of these things.
So you saw how they were.
Spleen did.
That's what happened?
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, the thing, like, we encountered this type of shit before. Multiple times.
Or rather,
But
the
like-
after effects.
Yeah, like, we didn't really see them summon it, and a lot of times it needs a circle. I don't know, magic has some, like, weird fetish with circles, I'm not sure. But, like, I don't know. But he went, bah, and out came 2 dig holes.
To be honest, I don't really know a lot of magical stuff, so that's not in my purview. But if that's how that works, that's how that works. Yeah,
Magic.
we were just doing our normal routine, just kind of watching over caravans coming in, seemingly getting searched and everything. But no, we started smelling smoke, and when we turned around, there were fire elementals out. So did what we had to do. We jumped into action.
Yours were fire, just fire.
Just fire.
Ours were
Not just fire.
like it was like boiling water. Like it had fire. Like it looked like it had fire inside, but it was water. Like bleh.
I don't know. Lucky comes up. There were rumors that things like that could happen. People summoning things like that. Back in my tribe, we tried to do things where we tried to combine elementals together, but it never worked out, and they always attacked us. So then we just stopped.
They were always aggressive towards you.
Well, I mean, who else would be pissed off if you combine two things together?
Yeah, this.
Well, they were aggressive towards the guy who summoned them.
Yeah, but so was the fire elemental, that bigger one, that big one. In the forest? Is that right?
Yeah.
Didn't it kill?
At least that's what we think. It was just a pile of ashes when we got there.
Or was it like they turned into one?
No, they probably got burned.
I don't know. I don't know. She looks up. I don't know either. But Zagos, he got hit really hard. He's over at the. We're going over there now.
Good. There's a few over there, getting treated.
Have you seen any of the other guildies?
Only a couple at the guild hall.
So that leaves a lot unaccounted for. Right?
Yeah, we're just trying to make our way around and check what's going on where we can.
Yeah, but if you go out again, look for some like sketchy people with metal bracers.
Got it. You know what? Exos, I'm going to go do what I do best. I'm gonna go try and find information. Okay? He looks over. All right, you do that. You keep in touch with me. You know where we're gonna be. We're either gonna be at the garrison or we're gonna be back at the hospital. Okay? Find what you find out. And coordinate. And he looks up at all you guys. We gotta work together here. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. It's just this shit happened not too long ago in another big town city thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
There were circles.
big circles built into like the general, I don't know, terrain, like the trees and the houses and how things are set up, fountains, all that shit. It was like secret, like it was like quiet for so long,
Part
and then
how
it
it was
just
planned.
activated.
As you guys are describing this, Hal, here's something in your head, and it's Hal, where are you? You okay? You recognize it as Elric.
Elris, yes, we're fine. We're in Old Town. It's busy, but not as bad as it was. Everybody's cleaning up here.
And about a couple seconds later, you hear, okay, Minnesat's under attack. We're okay. We heard about you guys. I'm glad you're okay. And then
They have these braces. These. It was just one person who summoned them by clanking them together. And they were more than just fire elementals. Do you know what if there's a combination of fire and water elementals possible?
1 moment goes by. 2 moments. You don't hear a reply.
Well, either he's out of magic or there's possibly some trouble. Would you be willing to go check on Elris with me?
I was about to suggest the same.
Thank you.
You want to go see how badly a library is burned, Spleen?
Yeah.
Elris instead.
Oh, that's right. He's still there. I was thinking he went to Onver, but we teleported. We went way ahead of him. That's right.
That's why he said Menestad is still is under.
Yep.
Oh, that cut out for me. That
Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
when you said Menestad, it cut out. Okay, that. Well, I would have told him where we were.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Well, we told him before we left, actually.
yeah, you guys had said goodbye. Said your goodbyes.
Right.
Well, we can check on him more tonight. I'll sleep late and work on the spell first.
All right. Oh. Should report to someone that Menestad is still under attack.
Yeah.
Maybe tell Libertia or Crimson Pride if she'll hear us.
Well, I think she's busy taking care of stuff. Libertia did send her
I
a
can
message.
imagine so.
Let's keep scouting around for now, because there's not much they're going to be able to do immediately anyhow for Menestad.
All right.
We'll
All
start.
right. With this, everybody make an investigation check, because this will just be for the rest of your searching.
Oh, that was pretty good.
5.
8.
Plus 4, so 23.
I got a dirty 20.
Nice. Walking throughout the town, you see a lot of the wear and the battle damage happening. And yeah, like that had happened. You see some of your guild members. Some of them are singed pretty good, but not like to a point of incapacitation. So there's some wear and battle damage doing that there. Walking throughout the town, you notice that a lot of the people are kind of sheltering at this point. It's quieter. Smell of soot is in the air and burning. Some of it doesn't smell too bad, and others are like, whoa, smells like a body was burned. It's not pretty. You do happen upon Shifting Amber shepherding people round. And he acknowledges you, but he's kind of just focused.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, you kind of get back to Bertia. You can, you get back to Libertia.
So we'll let her know
Most
what
of
we
the
found.
town. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It seems to have been cleaned up and stopped. There's a solemn quiet now, but it's rather widespread. Seems like we may have been the only one who actually saw the things summoned out of all the groups that were attacked.
Actually, there's a couple people in here that have seen how the things were summoned as well. They were just regular. From what we could tell, they were just fire elementals.
Only fire?
Only fire.
How they might be experimenting the same way we do. That's not good.
It is not good, and I'm worried they may be targeting us if something stronger was just happening to be near us. But, I mean, I don't suppose anybody knows that we've been the ones to go see to. I mean, we can't be the only
Unless
ones
there's a
dealing with
mole.
multiple elementals.
Unless there's a
Oh, unless there's
spy.
some mole.
A mole.
Fluffy, I knew
I
it.
doubt Fluffy has told us anyone.
It's very suspicious that you two brought that up. Fuck. You were in the sewers. The guy smelled like the sewers.
Camera snaps back to him, and someone gave him a little crossing guard uniform and a whistle.
Oh.
And then it just snaps back to you guys.
No, couldn't be.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems. I'm not sure. Cause how would they know it's us? Like, why? How would they know that we'll be standing right there at the bridge?
Well, I mean, we've been standing there for a while, but at the same time, why us?
I mean, it did smell like the sewers. And then, like, before we could really do much, that's when shit went down. That guy that we saw with the cloak, the one that did the thing.
Yeah.
And, like, weren't the guys that, like, ambushed you, Hal?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. They went in the sewers. They got eaten, but they went in the sewers. You don't. What do you know about that book you got for your grandfather?
It seemed so mundane. It was. Well, it certainly had a magical aura.
I mean, I doubt your grandfather would be, trying to destroy the cities, especially the one he lives in. That just wouldn't make sense. But what if he's involved with something that is an enemy of them?
Or the book is capable of destroying cities. And that's why he wants
And
it.
that's why they're after it.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah, because books can't do that. It's just paper.
I just glance at Howard like,
There you go.
ah.
You think your grandfather might know anything?
Sure he does.
Would he be willing
But that
to...
is going to be his business, not ours.
Yeah, okay.
Do I need to speak to him? Maybe it has to be somebody else. I can charm him.
I don't know if you're his type, Spleen.
I'm everybody's type. What is that supposed to mean?
I have no idea what his type is.
I said I'm everybody's type.
Yeah, I know you said that now.
I don't know. Maybe he
did
liked
mention-
the goblin experience. Who knows?
He did mention that both the book and the amulet that we got from the giant's den were, I believe the term was extraplanar.
That is what he said.
Extraplanar.
Do we know anything about the elemental planes?
Summoning was never really both of your things back in the academy.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys had any interest.
Not much.
outside or during your off times? Because you guys had widely, like, as much as you had intersecting classes together, you also had different course trajectories.
Right.
Because Howard, you were definitely more for you were definitely more for sculpting and evocation, so the ability to produce energy from nothing. And Howard, you were more or less trying to figure the manifestation of your powers through patron source. So none of it had really anything to do with summoning training.
Hmm.
Something to think on. I don't know. Maybe us, but it seems far-fetched. I mean, who are we to them? We barely know anything about them.
But we've already encountered 2 separate extraplanar items. We could be on a government watch list.
We did stop a ritual that they were conducting. I assume they were related in some way, shape, or form with that guy.
Hmm.
Ranith? Ranith?
Russ.
As Howard thinks, and I try to remember because it's on the tip of
Ranith,
my
yes.
tongue.
Mm-hmm.
I know his name.
Ronald.
No. Ranith.
Ronith McDonough. Sorry.
Ronald McDonald, yes.
Yes, the most famous of the McDonald's.
Open 24 hours because he literally doesn't sleep.
You just see him off in the corner. His eyes are wide, and the bags are so deep.
I don't know, that even of us interrupting that slighted them in some way, shape, or form, and they found out that we were the ones who did it somehow. Wouldn't they spend more effort pursuing him again than coming after us?
If he was able to be found,
Yeah,
he didn't
that's
seem like someone who wished to be found.
a solid point.
And it's
because-
also unlikely he was the only one in such a situation.
You might be right. I don't know. Thoughts to sleep on. Meditate
Yeah,
on.
but at this time it's about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been a day, and you see a lot of people just hanging out in the mess hall, just kind of quietly eating.
You know what? How about we just go turn in a little earlier at the guild hall? Chill for the rest of the day. I'll start working on sending now instead of tonight.
What do you mean? I feel great. I can't wait to pop this huge blister.
Mm.
At least let the
I wonder what it
medics
tastes
handle
like.
that thing. I
can't wait to not watch that happen.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I get it on you. Dr. Pimple Popper.
No.
Yeah. Throwback.
Yeah, you guys start turning in. You're kind of hanging out around the guild hall. You know, you do go into the pit. It is still a rather nice area, even though it's a fighting ground and a training grounds. But yeah, ultimately, hanging about, you start seeing more people start trickling.
Mm-hmm.
Do see the signs and wares of battle, and you notice that about half the groups are without missing at least one person.
Hmm.
And out up and about, you see the dwarf, the red haired dwarf, orange, sorry, around. You definitely see the bandages on his face from where the burnings were.
The burning.
He's got a pitcher in his hand, just drinking from it.
Any sign of the Goliath?
Any sign of Goliath? Fine.
Hmm. Just kind of working on sending for a few hours while periodically just kind of observing around me.
Periodically, you just kind of see like people walking kind of aimlessly, trying to work their. You know the look because your years in the war. You know the look of just like major shit just happened. Everybody's kind of gonna work and deal through their own stuff.
I think I could be of use in the medic hall.
You go in and volunteer.
Sure.
You walk in and you see Liliana. She's this stout dwarvish woman. She's older, definitely older. Like, definitely hit her 200s for sure. Nice top bun right up top, and
He does not look a day over 198.
You're sweet. What? Get your ass in the gear. Let's go. And with that, Bryony, make a medicine check with advantage because you got a medical professional with you.
What's my medicine? 15 plus 8, I got a 23.
23? Excellent. So people are trickling in, and you deal with the more immediate people, but you know how to reset a bone, you know how to bandage right, and you've got salves that you've helped made. And so you're applying them to people with burns and cuts and scrapes and bruises. You're dealing with a lot of the more minor injuries that you feel. But throughout the day, you've dealt with Liliana a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, a whole bunch of different things. Halsterian and Howard, while you guys are kind of corresponding with each other, you notice a mate, an academy messenger come. And they're going directly towards you. You two. We would like to let you know that a couple more students have been taken.
Hmm.
More
Today?
students.
Tenuit Kobold is concerned.
Do they know when it happened?
I would hope so.
So he's calling on everybody who's been a part of the academy.
Oh.
I see.
What does he want us to do?
As far as right now, stay vigilant, but do not be alone. Anybody could be targeted.
Have have the people going missing only been active students, or
Some were active students, some were not. We assumed when this first started happening that it was isolated.
and that's proven false? Noted.
Be safe out there.
You too.
You as well.
You notice there's a fear in his voice. And he turns around and he walks away.
Just one problem after another. I can't help but think that's related, though.
Yes, I would have to agree. It seems like too many coincidences are happening.
Yeah. Sooner we figure out the spell, finish translating it, the better. And just start working on it again.
You guys spend the rest of your night translating the spells, trying to get sleep. There's an eerie quiet to the city. And with that, we're gonna end tonight's session.
But not quite yet. Because I have a
But-
party appreciation.
There is a party appreciation. I was gonna get to that. But all right. Get it up.
Do the thing! Alright. Let's just go in a circle. Although the circle I see over here and the one over there is a little bit different, but that's okay. We'll go based on that circle. So we'll start with Steve in the top left. Steve, it has been a blast getting to know you, and it has been even more of a blast letting JT let us do chaos. I love being a caster. It is something that is just like in my heart. And getting to play with the rules of the spells and just see what kind of chaos we can create makes it all the better. And I can't wait to see what other things that the two of us will get into with our characters.
Definitely agreed.
Olivia, although our time with Bryony is a little limited, it has been fun all the same, in the same manner. And more, with the animal shenanigans and the pastry shenanigans and etc. of similar kinds. Getting to see the different ways that you play a brand new character with being almost brand new to D&D, and the unique ways you would use things was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, one of the top moments I've had so far in my limited experience of D&D has been floating a crocodile, a little ball of a crocodile on a leash through a city. That was fantastic. And spleen, love of my life, and chaos incarnate. Like,
The fuck?
I just, your array of characters is just as chaotic as you are, and I'm all for it. I never know what you're gonna do with Spleen. Let me rephrase that. I know exactly what you're gonna do with her, and then at the same time, I never know what you're gonna do with her, and it's very confusing and very fun. Let me tell you, I was really hoping that the bridge would start to crack in some way, shape, or form, and Howard would get an idea of what you were doing.
I know.
I had some ideas to try and help it break.
I know. I was like, ooh, if it was like wood or like stone, the way you described it, I was like, oh, that's not falling apart.
But something for us to try on a smaller bridge with other elementals, maybe. We'll see, because I have new spells to break out still. And, well, we'll see what chaos your character gets us into or out of.
I should have built the bridge myself. I got the strength for it.
And JT, last but definitely not least, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to give you a headache every Wednesday with this chaos, and for being so open to the magical shenanigans and encouraging of it.
And patient with us.
Oh, yes.
So patient.
Absolutely beautiful. I can't get enough of it. There's a little piece of me that just reflexively builds things to be efficiently strong. Not quite min-maxed, but like very powerful in the things that they're supposed to be able to do. And let me tell you, the chaos you have encouraged has actually made me not... has actually made me actively pursue not being extremely
Glass
effective. Yeah, not being a glass cannon of a wizard and stuff, and literally trying things that would make my character worse at things at times, just to see what kinds of shenanigans we come up with and what kind of things you do with it. And I love it. It's fantastic. And it has made picking spells all the more interesting.
Well, my theory on spell casting is there's a use for every spell. You just have to make that opportunity happen.
And I love it.
I'm glad I'm encouraging you to be more what you think.
Yeah.
But with that, I'd like to thank D&D Beyond for sponsoring us tonight. But also, roll for Ukraine. This conflict is a very serious thing, and honestly, it's scary seeing this happen. So, be kind to each other. We're in the middle of a global pandemic as well. So, wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask, don't be a dick. But, seriously, with that, I'm not going to say my line. Not tonight. You all have a good night. Love you all.
Have you ever fought a dragon, stormed its mountain lair? Have you ever killed a vampire and seen the evil in its glare? Have you ever sought adventure and couldn't find it anywhere? Well, here's the answer to your call. We are the Diabetes. Adventuring company. Come look behind all your cares.
Rah!